Hey, what's up? It's Edward, and that's quite a controversial title, isn't it? Evil is nice and good is kind. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Isn't niceness the best thing that we have in the world? Well, evil, when it comes to the word evil, is actually not what we think naturally is. Evil doesn't mean some kind of unalterable state of, or unalterable person who is always like that, who is always static and who doesn't change. Evil doesn't mean a person is naturally inclined to do everything bad. Evil doesn't mean that we have to kill that person or we have to stop them from everything that they're doing. Evil simply means that a person is hurt, so they have traumas, they have certain mental issues, and those traumas and mental issues prevent them from being what's considered good, what is considered kind. Let's use the word good. And when a person has those issues, so we're not going to use the word evil, we're going to use the word hurt. When a person is hurt, that the only way that they can act is when they are interacting with humans, if they are hurt and if they are stressed, is by being nice. Because, well, if a person is hurt, all of the actions are directed at themselves. So it's comfort, it's making money for themselves, it's escaping, distracting themselves from the complicated situation that they've been in. It's about partying, and it's about drinking a lot of alcohol, using drugs, and anything that helps them to not think about stuff that they're in. Because when the person is stressed, they think a lot. And it's good. Being stressed is good, and thinking when you're stressed is good. That's the point of feeling stressed. If a person feels stressed, it means that they are in a situation they don't want to be in, and thinking helps you to get out of that situation. So where that comes from is that our ancestors at some point may not have had food that they could consume. They may not have had shelter, or they saw the dangerous animals crawling somewhere around, and they have to go and somehow either try to avoid them or try to fend them off, fight them, face them. And same applies to later times, like medieval times or even 20th century, where there were wars. So we were in a situation, we were feeling stressed, and we had to escape that. And brain is something that can help us to do that. And the problem is that if we overstress ourselves, we basically become just brain, because since it's responsible for our survival, and that's the only purpose of having a brain, of using a brain, the only reason why it turns up, because in the past we had to survive. Right now we are imitating the need to survive. We're not going to be diving deep into the subject of stress and why, like, brain and how people start to use brain when they feel stressed. We already made another video on that subject. You can check it out somewhere on the channel. I'm going to try to link it. But briefly, if a person, right now we are in the developed countries living in a quite safe world in which we are not endangered. There's no dangers for us. We don't need to survive anything, and that's but people still experience stress. Where that comes from? Well, first of all, people are hurt, and people always feel that like they need to escape that, and we have for some reason believe in our society that working is something that can help you escape that, which is kind of true, but it's not enough to just work. And so we fake feeling stressed, or we fake being in danger, and as a consequence feeling stressed by making ourselves believe that certain things are important, which they may not be. Let's say you're working in a company that produces what could it be? A company that has a chain of grocery stores across the country that has prices 10 times higher than other places. So, and you work as a salesperson for that company, so you made yourself believe that that's very important. But the only thing that is actually truly important is something that has a threat towards you, threatens you, or threatens life in general. So let's say there would be some kind of meteor falling onto the planet. That would be a threat, and we would have to fight it off. But considering that having a shop with prices 10 times higher than in other shops and selling this idea, it's not it's not actually a threat to anyone. It's just a convenience. We make ourselves believe that it's a threat. We set that as our priority, and that's where a career comes in. That's where building business comes in. So we are basically trying to make the world more comfortable, more easy to live, so people basically get what they want. But this is not, we are not actually in danger. So the stress is fake. And the other ways that people can fake the stress is, for example, through caffeine, which is, well, or other drugs that people use, which basically imitate the situation that you're in danger. You have to take action to do something to get out of that situation. And basically all of that together, being hurt, which pretty much 90% of people are, quite hurt to a bigger or lesser degree, but still quite hurt, and then the rest 10% is like more significantly less, but still there are certain traumas that they have. All of that coupled with stress and with necessity with the belief that money is going to get you out of that situation, which, by the way, there is nothing wrong with money. Money is great, but the problem is the mindset that we have, that we get from being hurt and stressed, is that money is just for the sake of, that was a weird fly hit me in the head, money, because of being hurt and stressed, money is, people believe that money is basically a savior, something they need to get as much as possible so that they can get out of that complicated situation. And this mostly applies to employees and to some kind of simple businesses that don't set really high standards of doing something like truly amazing, but whose sole purpose is just to make money. And that's why people don't like salesmen, by the way, and saleswomen, I think, as well. They're all the same. Nothing wrong with salespeople. So the mindset about money is wrong, because money is a tool that helps you create something that is valuable to other people. But so money only goes somewhere where there is value for somebody, otherwise it wouldn't appear. Nobody would get money unless they steal it, which is not legal. We shouldn't do it. Nobody would get money if they're not creating something useful for somebody. And so that whole situation with being stressed and being hurt and makes us people earn money for their own comfort, to escape the situation. They don't want to be in like an uncomfortable situation. Yes, feeling stressed, and as well, since people become more used to comfort when thinking about money in that way. Another way to kind of imitate comfort in the environment that is not normally considered comfortable for some reason, which is basically outside in the world, that's where niceness comes in. Because the difference between niceness and kindness is that kindness is it's about the intention. It's proactive. So you can't be kind passively, because not everything is perfect. So when you have kind intentions, you direct your effort at helping someone, solving their problems, and your actions may be tough sometimes. You may do something that somebody may not like, but so long as your intentions are kind, you are kind. And niceness is about the act. It's about being able to navigate through a complicated situation in life as easily as possible, because we as human beings are notorious for trying to solve our problems the simplest way possible. That's why cigarettes and pills and alcohol and some kind of other drugs are so popular, because they make us they solve the problem right away. Not actually the problem, but rather the consequence of a problem. But doesn't matter if a person is constantly in a state of stress after being hurt, they just want to escape constantly, which is not a great solution, and it's kind of being passed from generation to generation, like being hurt and necessity to make yourself stressed and money is just for your own goodness, for your survival, for your comfort and stuff like that. It's not great, but that's what we have right now, and this is why we need to look at something deeper, at not at the consequences or not at the facade of the problems, but actually at the actual problems. And that's where instead of pills we start to use awareness and meditation to understand what is actually bothering us. We start to use rest, we start to use just doing normal natural human activities, walking, going to nature, doing sport, laughing, socializing, etc. And we try to basically look at the problems deep down there below, and same thing applies to alcohol and cigarettes. Instead of trying to escaping that state, we're trying to find a way what makes us come there. And coming back to niceness and kindness, our goal is to, so niceness is good, there's nothing bad in it, it's better than rudeness, but we have to realize that it's a temporal step. It's a step to get to being kind, and that's basically what everyone wants. Like every single person naturally wants to be kind, and we are kind naturally. When we come to this world, we're pure, we are a life form, and life and protection of life is basically what is kind. Life meaning nature, water, animals, insects, everything that exists and does everything the way it is happening. And everything that human beings are making is basically simplifies for us humans living in this environment. So niceness is just a temporal step. It's a crutch that we use to navigate through the world to make it more easily. Because imagine people who are hurt and stressed, they wouldn't be nice. That would be a terrible place to live in. And that's pretty much what we had in the past, where people were fighting more, where there was more wars and more kind of conflicts. It's because people haven't learned the skill of being nice. But unfortunately, when a person is stressed and when a person is hurt, it's very easy to fool them to believe certain things, or to even impart them certain views by because when you're stressed and hurt, you basically perceive the world through your eyes, ears, coupled with the knowledge in your brain. And when you do that, you see a person who is smiling, you immediately say, okay, that person is happy, he's good, everything is cool, he's a man I want to be with, etc. But and you don't notice anything else, because all of the energy, when you're stressed, all of the energy of your body, and by the way, traumas and mental problems and like feeling hurt, all of that contributes to us going into our brain instead of existing in the entire body that we have, and it hampers our intuition, it weakens our connection to the inner voice. Like we start to sense things worse. Even like the most one of the main five senses, apart from visual and auditory, like tactile sense and the olfactory sense, the smell and the smell of taste, sense of taste, even those become less, we kind of become disconnected from them. That's why when a person is stressed, they may eat less, or they may eat too much, but then they eat too much of a shitty food that's been specifically made so a stressed person would be able to consume it. So it's quite easy to eat burgers, they're kind of always tasty. But the funny thing is that when you're not stressed, you actually, they are disgusting to you, because you start considering the food being the source of your life energy, and then your senses become sharper, and then you basically, just by smelling or by looking, by touching kind of a burger, you realize that what is that shit that I'm eating? It's like, it's not gonna do me any good. But when you're stressed, you don't notice anything of that. You're basically in a crazy state of trying to escape feeling the way you feel, and food helps really well with that, because there's a lot of like different, how do they call them, neurotoxins and some kind of, you know, serotonins, dopamines, etc. They just go up and down, and the manipulation of those through like social media, through food, through some kind of through screens, through videos, through games, etc. The manipulation of that makes kind of a person somehow navigate using two crutches through life without actually aiming at solving the problem deep down there below. And we have to remember that kindness is proactive, and it takes a lot of effort to become that, so that your effort are directed at other people. Because if you are hurt, if you are stressed, if you're in a weak state, if you're consider yourself a victim, if you have a victim mentality, like, hey, it's the world around me that's wrong, it's the money that's wrong, it's those politicians that they're wrong, it's this, it's that, then you wouldn't be able to become kind. Because when you become kind, it empowers you, it gives you energy to act a certain way. You connect with the life that exists within you, or actually, well, life that is everywhere around you. Even the wind that is right now passing through my hand, it's a part of me, a part of us, a part of everything, because we are all life here. And we have to reconnect with our feelings, and without those feelings, not to take any action, not to take any power, not to give any advice, not to take, basically not to be proactive. Because when we're being proactive without being kind, but just being nice, our actions can have dire effects, and then we do something to the world that we wouldn't normally approve of, wouldn't normally want to be a part of it. And well, what are the ways? We need to follow a certain path in order to learn how to become kind, or rather reconnect with what kindness means, with what connection with life actually is. And there's a proven path that certain experts can create for you, but essentially it involves meditation and connecting with your senses, connecting with how your whole body operates, not just being this brain that's just floating around and just concerned about survival, drinking caffeine and working all the time, overdoing everything, money, I need to more for myself. Money is great, but it's the mindset, like we talked. The mindset is completely screwed. It's not, money is about creating value, not about creating comfort for yourself or distracting yourself. So meditation and working on your awareness, how you feel yourself, your organism, how you feel the world around you, how you're able to connect with people, how you're able to understand the way the other person feels. Then resting, you don't have to work all the time, changing your relationship to money, kind of allowing yourself time to think about things. Go in the nature, in the forest, feel how life actually is. Because living in the city is great, but a lot of people who live in the city want to live in the closer to the nature. A lot of people who live closer to the nature want to live in the city. They are both great, but we have to do both of those to remain sane. City is more comfortable, nature is more enjoyable for us, for our organism. So, if you found this message of value, and if you find yourself kind of connected with, like if you recognize yourself in certain parts of the videos, feel free to text me on Instagram or Twitter. The links are down in the description, and we're gonna talk about your personal situation, see if we can help you with, for example, if you're struggling with being overly nice, if you don't feel kindness to the world, or if you are struggling with forming connections with people, which, by the way, that's a way to test that niceness is fake, and nobody actually likes niceness, because people like feeling good around someone, and people don't like niceness because it's not real. Our senses, they will not lie to us. And the way you can prove that to yourself, if you don't believe me, go outside and try to meet people you don't know. Just keep meeting them and try to forge strong connection with them, like a friendship. Try to forge friendship or a sexual relationship, like romantic relationship, serious relationship with the people, and you're gonna see how people naturally respond to you. And people means life form, because they don't know you, they don't owe anything to you, and you're gonna see how they, when you come to talk to them, you're gonna see how they respond to you. When you text with them, when you meet them, when you try to get to know them, you're gonna see how they actually naturally respond to you. And it can also be done with animals. So if an animal gets scared of you, it starts barking or like attacking you or growling or anything like that, it just shows how life naturally responds to you. But that doesn't mean you're evil, which we already talked about that. It just means that you are hurt, and these traumas, they cause you to appear as someone that you don't want to be. Of course, with like using some kind of sales skills and like social skills, you can mask all of that, and to many people appear like you don't have those traumas and that you're actually a great person. But if a person has a really good awareness, you won't be able to trick them even with that. So go out, talk to people, you're gonna see how they naturally respond to you, and well, you're gonna prove or disprove what I've said in this video. But yeah, text me on Instagram or Twitter if you find like this is something that you are experiencing in life. And if that's your first time here, subscribe to the channel and do all of those fancy liking, sharing stuff that YouTubers normally ask. And definitely write a comment if you have something to say. It's going to be super much value to other people. It's been Edward. I'm going to see you in the next video. We are ramping up the speed and going harder and harder with every time. Take care. It's been a pleasure. Bye.